What's up, everyone? John Raitt here, back with another episode of Design and Invest. It's been a crazy busy week, so I only had a chance to film one episode, but in the future we're going to be doing a lot more, trust me. This week we did 6 stages, which is a record high for us. Not a huge moneymaker week because a lot of the clients were flippers and small flippers who only wanted some small partial stages and a couple small full stages. But to jump right in, let me give you the stats on these and a little before and after so you can see the work. I have a crazy messy warehouse with hard to organize and hard to pull product from, but we make it work. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Show you some of the stages for this week. We had 6 total. Starting with Monday, we had the El Molino job in Pasadena, $3,250. Tuesday, we had the Park Vale job in Cerritos, a very small partial stage, $2,150. I don't normally bid them this low, but this is a really good client that we do 3 or 4 a month with. And when he comes calling, I make sure to take care of him. He's not super picky, so we can knock these out really quickly. Wednesday, we had the Elliott job in Woodland Hills. This was a $3,000 stage. Thursday, we had the Valerio job in West Hills for $3,675. Friday, we had a double hitter, Caballo job in Glendora for $2,150. And the Keystone job in Burbank for $3,000. The total for the week was 6 stages, $17,225. All right, so staging isn't for everybody. It's not glamorous like you see on television. The grand reveal sometimes is, and when you're doing these huge properties, the grand reveal definitely is. Luckily, I keep my costs very low. I have 0 debt in my company. I have 0 other hands in the cookie jar. I don't have any partners in my companies. Therefore, I can charge a lot lower than other stagers and compete at different levels. A lot of people think that staging is something that is too expensive or something that only gets done on really high-end properties. Absolutely not the case. I have done jobs for free for my best clients. If they are in a jam and need to get out of it, it's one of those things. It's kind of a loss leader, but it absolutely is necessary sometimes to get that person's trust and to get all their big business, so it all equals out in the end. Okay, so let me give you a little background on how I got into staging. I think it's important for everybody to know this. Staging is not as glamorous as one thinks. It's, sometimes really tedious. You're staying out all day, every day. You're off buying stuff, and it's not like fun shopping half the time. And it is fun, but when you're out there and you have necessities and you have places to be, it can get really, really crazy. But the way I started, my developer clients about 6.5 years ago, my developer clients started doing model homes, and they wanted, they were hiring other stagers, and they said to me, "Hey, John, isn't this something you could do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I could probably do this. Let me do this." But I didn't have the money to jump into this. So in the beginning, I started buying furniture on their behalf for their jobs, storing it at their locations, taking it from one place to the next. I mean, it got really, really tedious. And so at some point, it got out of hand. We had probably 4 different garages full of stuff, and it was getting damaged. It just wasn't the ideal situation. So I came to the realization that this either wasn't going to work with the current situation, or I would have to take it on myself. So I made a deal with these developer clients and said, "Hey, let me buy the existing furniture that's not damaged off you guys. I'll give you credits applied towards future jobs." They were totally cool with that. They didn't actually even want to have that furniture and that liability at their, not warehouses, but in their garages and stuff. So I went and rented a couple of public storage units, actually like 3 at one point, and I stored all the stuff there in between stages and gave them stellar deals, and I still have these developer clients, these same ones, for 7 years now. And but that grew cumbersome too. After a certain point, I had 3 or 4 different public storage units that were like not that close to each other. I had 2 right next to each other, and another 2 like pretty far, one in a completely other location. So that led me to my next sort of journey. I needed warehouse space. It's really expensive for a warehouse. I have to have, commercial leases are really hard to get. So I got creative. I bought 7 storage containers, 40-foot high cube storage containers, put them on one of my brother's vacant lots, and I used that for warehouse space for almost 2 years. And talk about down and dirty. We're taking stuff out of containers, putting it on dirt, just that's how we would sort for our stages, and we did that for 2 years. I still have 5 of those containers that I use for overflow, but now I have a proper warehouse, 6,000 square feet near USC in downtown LA, and it's very conveniently located. I had to do the whole commercial lease thing and have the insurance but now, I have a big boy business that not just, fly by the seat of your pants business, and that's where we're at now. Mentorship. It's really important to have mentors, to be a mentor, and to rely on these people for information. It never hurts to ask. I reached out to the world's biggest stager at one point, and he's still my mentor. I reconnected with him actually last week, and he's a wonderful guy. His name is Baer. He's formerly the president of Baer, who's by far the biggest luxury stager in the world, and has since gone off and done his own thing. He started up his own luxury staging company called Vesta Home. They're fantastic. I mean, these are the guys that you see in $1 million listings, all these luxury $30 million homes and, all these fabulous places that you see on TV. They're the ones that do these. I don't go that high with my staging, to be honest with you. I'm sort of in my pocket. I would say about 20% only of my stages are above $6,500. With that said, I do take these on. If I have something come across my desk that's really big, I don't pass on it. I still bid on it, but I run these through bigger companies, so they take the credit and they, take these deals down, like Vesta. Vesta is now basically my go-to for these higher end stages, and they shoot me all of their smaller business. So you have to get really creative when you have when you're looking for mentors, when you're looking for strategic partnerships. I personally don't believe in trying to do jobs that are out of your range, because if you start doing that and get into that mindset, it can really burn you. Talk about racking up debt and getting in a situation where you're just uncomfortable, and I've done a couple that I shouldn't have done, and I didn't get in trouble for it, but I learned my lesson, because I forcefully had to buy a lot of new inventory, to where now that job that I charged $15,000 for, I ended up spending $10,000. So really I made $5,000, and not even that if you add up all the employee costs and this and that. But you do have to get your name out there sometimes and take a leap. But for now, I do that through other bigger companies. For a while there, I was doing it with Baer. I was shooting Brett, my bigger business, and then he was shooting me all the smaller business. They don't touch anything, below, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and I rarely do ones that are higher than that. So it's a really good marriage, and that just took me asking the guy out for coffee. I said, "Hey, Brett, you want to go out for coffee?" And it's funny how I came across him, because one of my go-to developer clients, builders, called me in for a house that he was flipping, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the guy that I'm flipping this with is a stager." And I'm like, "Oh cool, there's a lot of stagers out there, great." When I shook his hand and realized who the hell he was, I was like, "Oh my God, this is Baer of Baer, the president of Baer." And when he gave me his card, I almost shat my pants. I was like, "Oh my God, this is the guy I need to be hanging out with right here." And so I asked him out for coffee. First of all, I helped him out with that flip, because I do interior design, I do floor plans, I do artist renderings, and they needed all the above for that property. And obviously the staging, I wasn't going to get that, but that's okay. So I asked him out for coffee. He took me up on it, and we just started brainstorming, spitballing. And what we came up from that, with that meeting, was the partnership. Me shooting the bigger jobs upstairs to him, and the smaller ones downstairs to me. I mean, it was a beautiful marriage. Now with Vesta, we're going to be doing the same thing, and I hope that we amplify that 10 times. just to show you guys a little bit of my luxury staging world, here's a property that I just de-staged in Studio City, sold lightning quick by the famous Shawn Kormondy, Hollywood Hills realtor. And this one is in Studio City for $3.5 million. All right, guys, I really want you to engage with me, so please comment, like me, favorite me, whatever. Tell your friends about me. I'm not going anywhere. And remember, design, invest, and repeat.